Why are festivals important? A couple of reasons. First of all, festivals aren't important for all films. If you make an action adventure story, you know, it's probably not going to get in any festivals because it's not really festival fare. Although they make exceptions. Cannes Film Festival, they always show a couple of American, big studio pictures. Why do they show them? Why would they show them at the Cannes Film Festival, which is in? They want the stars to come, right. They want to get some people on that red carpet, and the only way you're going to get Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman or this one or that one there is if you agree to show their movie and it's at a competition, and it's basically because they want to attract a bunch of stars because they want to add to the glamour, and you got all the photographers there, and they don't want to take pictures of just grungy filmmakers in their blue jeans. They want some stars. So they'll show some of those, but they're not in competition. But by and large, most festivals, they are, there's exceptions. Horror films generally don't do well in the festival circuit, but some of them have midnight screenings and they show them. And there are some festivals like Screamfest, that's all they show is horror films, So, but by and large, most festivals tend to be invested in the art of filmmaking and aesthetics, and they tend to try to get films that festival goers will like. And festival goers are not representative of the population. And most of the people who go to film festivals are better educated, wealthier, more cosmopolitan than your average, beer guzzling moviegoer who wants to buy a box of bullets with that DVD. So they're hardly a representative sample of the whole country. But when you show a film at a film festival, most of the people in the audience are not distributors. Most of them are people who bought a ticket, and you do get some sense of how your movie will play and whether the story resonates with moviegoers. Granted, it's a slice of the movie-going public that tends to be smarter, wealthier, and better educated than a lot of moviegoers, but it still gives you some sense. So festivals are different than markets, and this can be confusing to people because some festivals run alongside markets. The Cannes Film Festival, there's two events going on. There's the marché, the market, and there's the festival. The festival is showing new films. In fact, the festival is not really under one roof. There's different sections of the festival, like Directors Fortnight, which is essentially run by the French equivalent of the Directors Guild. And then there's Critics Week, which is run by film critics. It's not really part of the official festival. So, and then there's the market. And the films in the market are just basically films that some sales agent is representing. They're not showing in the festival at all. And this is all going on side by side. Berlin has a market. It's more of an art house market. AFM has a market. It doesn't really have a festival, but they have an affiliation now with the AFI festival, but I don't think it does much good because I don't think people, after watching films all day at the AFM near the beach, are going to fight traffic for an hour to go see the AFI films across town. After it doesn't make any sense to me, but so film markets are generally only open to the trade. In other words, if you're not in the film industry, you can't just come in and buy a ticket. Okay, festivals, you can buy a ticket. Now, some festivals like Sundance, it's hard to buy a ticket if you don't buy a pass, and because there's such demand. You may not be able to buy a ticket because before it sells out, but theoretically you can buy a ticket. And you can show up at Sundance, and often it's not that difficult at Sundance to get to see some of the foreign films and the world films, but the dramatic competition, the documentary competition films, that could be difficult if you don't have a pass to buy an individual ticket, simply because it may be sold out. But it's open to the public, festivals. Markets are generally not open to the public. The reason you go to festivals is to get publicity for your film. You go there because when you go to Sundance, you see that there's hundreds of journalists from throughout the country who have been sent there by their newspapers, their media, their TV stations. They're there to report. And you know what? If they don't file some reports, if they don't write some reviews and don't put in some stories, next year they won't get to go back. And they like to go to Sundance. They have a good time there. They go to parties, they see films. It's a good deal, especially if their boss is paying for it all, right? So believe me, those reviewers, those media people, they are there and they are going to write a bunch of stuff. and there's a whole bunch of filmmakers there. And Sundance is the one festival it's really, I think, important to have a publicist. Some of the other festivals not so important, but you need someone there who can be a wrangler, and for all the media, because a lot of filmmakers, they don't know how to deal with the media. Someone has to schedule all these interviews and service the media. They may want still pictures, they may want different things if they're going to write a story about you. So the reason you go to the festivals is to build awareness for your film. And if you get into Sundance, even if you don't win an award, just getting into Sundance is a distinction by itself. And if you get the subject of a bunch of newspaper reviews and they're positive reviews, that can be very helpful. And when you go to a distributor, if you have that ammunition, if you built up that ammunition, your film is much more desirable in their eyes. So I've talked to distributors, and they've said to me, we like the film, but put it in the festival circuit, and let's see what happens. And if it gets some good reviews, then we'll take it on. What they're saying is, look, just selling the film by itself is hard. But if you give me a film and it wins an award at Sundance, and I have a great review from the New York Times and the LA Times and Vanity Fair, and I can put that on the poster, it's much easier for me to sell the film, because I got to convince people to get in their cars and come and see the movie. And if all I can say is it's a good film, that doesn't go very far. I need some third-party validation. I need some critics. I need some news media. And I'm talking about the major news media. I'm not talking about the podunk Times gave you a great review. I'm talking about the major media. If they give you a great review, if you win an award, then that makes the film more marketable. It makes